The morning air was sharp with winter's edge when Daniel Carter tightened his grip on the worn leather leash. His dog, a large mixed breed with alert amber eyes and a scar along his muzzle, walked calmly beside him. The dog's name was Rex, not because it sounded fierce, but because Daniel's late son had named him years ago, insisting that heroes need hero names. Daniel wore an old gray hoodie, frayed at the cuffs, and boots that had seen better years. Anyone looking at him might assume he was just another struggling man in the city, one of those people executives passed without noticing. And that morning, one executive did more than pass him. From the glass front entrance of Hawthorne Dynamics, a multi-million-dollar tech company, Victor Hawthorne, the CEO himself, stepped outside surrounded by assistants. His tailored suit gleamed under the sun, his watch alone worth more than Daniel's monthly rent. Victor stopped abruptly when Rex paused to sniff a planter near the building entrance. "Unbelievable," Victor muttered loudly, not caring who heard. "This isn't a dog park." Daniel gently tugged the leash. "Sorry, sir. We'll move." Victor looked Daniel up and down, lips curling with amusement. "Figures. People like you always wandering around where you don't belong. Can't even control your mutt." Rex stood still, ears alert, eyes calm. Daniel swallowed the familiar knot in his chest. He'd learned long ago that arguing never helped. "Have a good day," he said quietly, turning away. Victor laughed. "Yeah, maybe try getting a real job instead of playing dog walker." The assistants chuckled nervously. Daniel said nothing. He never did. They didn't know that Daniel Carter was a single father, raising a 10-year-old daughter alone after his wife died of cancer. They didn't know he worked nights as a warehouse loader and days as a freelance trainer for service animals. And they certainly didn't know what Rex was capable of. A life of quiet struggles. Daniel hadn't always lived this way. 10 years earlier, he'd been a K-9 unit officer, one of the best in the state. Rex had been his partner, trained to detect threats, disarm suspects, and protect lives. Together, they'd saved dozens of people. Then came the night that changed everything. A drug raid gone wrong. Gunfire. Chaos. Daniel survived. His partner didn't. Soon after, his wife, Emily, was diagnosed with cancer. Medical bills piled up. Daniel left the force to care for her and their children. When Emily passed, Daniel was left with grief, debt, and responsibility. Rex stayed. When Daniel's son died in a car accident 2 years later, Rex was the one who sat by his bed at night, silent and steady. Life didn't break Daniel, but it bent him low. The day everything changed. That same afternoon, Daniel took Rex on their usual route through downtown. It was crowded, lunch hour, traffic horns, footsteps echoing between buildings. Rex's posture shifted suddenly. Daniel felt it instantly. Years of training kicked in. "What is it, boy?" he whispered. Rex's ears flattened. His gaze locked onto a man across the street, a man wearing a heavy jacket despite the mild weather. The man's hand hovered near his waist, his eyes darting nervously. Daniel slowed his pace. The man crossed toward Hawthorne Dynamics. Toward Victor. Daniel's heart pounded. "Rex, heel," he murmured. The man pulled out a gun. Everything happened at once. Chaos in broad daylight. People screamed. Assistants froze. Victor stood paralyzed, disbelief etched across his face as the armed man shouted. Everyone on the ground. Now. Security was too far. Police were minutes away. Daniel didn't think. "Rex," he commanded softly. "Protect." The dog exploded forward. In a blur of motion, Rex lunged, knocking the gunman off balance. The shot fired harmlessly into the air. Rex clamped onto the man's arm, twisting him down with trained precision. The crowd watched in horror and awe as Rex disarmed the criminal, pinning him to the pavement. Daniel rushed forward, pressing his knee into the attacker's back, holding him until security arrived. Sirens followed soon after. No one was hurt. A shattered illusion. Victor Hawthorne stood frozen, staring at the man he'd mocked hours earlier. The same man now calmly restrained an armed criminal. The same dog he'd called a mutt had just saved his life. Victor's hands trembled. Is everyone okay?" he asked, his voice small. Daniel nodded, catching his breath. "Yes. Police will take it from here." Rex released the man only when Daniel commanded it, then returned to his side, tail wagging slightly. The crowd erupted in applause. Victor swallowed hard. He stepped forward hesitantly. I owe you my life," he said. "Both of you." Daniel looked at him, not with anger, but with quiet weariness. You owe me nothing, Daniel replied. Just remember, not everyone's value is visible at first glance. Victor nodded, ashamed. The aftermath. The story went viral. Homeless man's dog stops armed attack. CEO saved by dog he mocked hours earlier. But Daniel wasn't homeless. And Rex wasn't just a dog. Victor personally tracked Daniel down 2 days later. He didn't bring cameras. He didn't bring assistants. He brought humility. I was wrong, Victor said simply. About you. About everything. He offered Daniel a job, head of corporate security and canine training, with a salary Daniel had never imagined. Daniel hesitated. Why? He asked. Victor answered honestly. Because character matters. And you have more of it than anyone I know. A new beginning. Daniel accepted, not for himself, but for his daughter. Rex got his own training facility. Daniel's daughter finally slept peacefully, knowing her father didn't have to work himself to exhaustion anymore. And Victor learned a lesson no boardroom ever taught him. The lesson that lasted. Months later, Daniel passed the same building again. This time, Victor stepped out and smiled. Good morning, Daniel. Daniel nodded. Morning. Rex wagged his tail. Victor bent down, offering the dog a treat. To the hero, he said. Daniel smiled softly. Everyone's a hero, he replied, when someone believes in them. And with that, a single dad, a loyal dog, and a changed man walked forward, proving that dignity, courage, and worth often walk beside us unnoticed, until the moment they save us all.